One, if not all, of these 5 quotes are going to change your mindset today. Stay tuned. If you're new here, then my name is Dr. Elisha Goldstein. I'm a psychologist. I'm the founder of the Mindful Living Collective and creator of a mental health accelerator program called Uncover the Power Within. If you're looking to support yourself with getting more personal control in your life, focusing more on what matters, ultimately wanting to enjoy life more, then click on the link in the description below. Okay, so this first quote is by the Dalai Lama. He said, "If a problem is fixable, if a situation is such that you can do something about it, then there is no need to worry. If it's not fixable, then there is no help in worrying. There is no benefit in worrying whatsoever." So what's the Dalai Lama saying here? He's basically saying there's no use for worry. And we worry so much. So what is worrying? Worrying is the brain trying to problem solve, figure out, it's trying to think of all the different scenarios ahead of us, usually worst case scenarios, which kick up our nervous system and cause a tremendous amount of anxiety and panic and even depression. And so he's basically saying, like, look, if there's something to worry about, figure out if there's something within your control that you can do about it to change the situation or support yourself or support another person. But if you do think about that and there's nothing that you can change or shift or support, then don't worry about it because it's outside of your control. And so he's basically saying, like, you don't need to worry. If you're worrying, figure out if there's something you can do about it. If you're not if there's nothing you can do about it, then see if you can let go of the worry. So how do you let go of the worry? How do we learn to put our minds down? I mean, this is really the power of mindfulness. It was in my life. Mindfulness just means awareness. It means intentionally paying attention to something with an engaged curiosity. And it allows us to check out and say, like, hey, is my body like wrapped up around this thing? There's nothing I can do about it. You're looking at the news, you're looking at things that are happening in Ukraine, you're looking at COVID numbers, and if there's things you can do about it, great. Engage those things. The rest of it, we need to let go of. So where do you let go of it? In your body. See where you're tensing, see where you're holding in your body, see if you can release, take a deep breath, let it out, talk to somebody about it. These are all ways of releasing and letting go. Okay, let's look at that next quote. Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You're able to say to yourself, I lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along." That is so true. So here we are. We have all these fears. Fears are typically feeding us like a whole lot of lies. They're meant to, again, think of the worst case scenarios to keep us safe. And what ends up happening is it holds us back from doing things. It holds us back from doing that big presentation. It holds us back from asking that person out. It holds us back from being vulnerable with the people that we love and care about, saying what's really on our mind and being authentic. It holds us back from even protecting our own peace in our lives. So what she's saying like, look, fear is a sensation. It's something that arises, an energy that arises within you. But once you allow yourself to move through it, once you face it and allow yourself to move through it, you see, on the other end of this fear, I'm okay. And once you do that with enough practice and repetition, you move through that fear. I used to have great fears when it came to speaking. I'd speak in front of 10 people. I'd get so anxious. And then I learned that I was going to speak in front of a room of 50 people. I'd get anxious. Can I even do it? Or 250 people? How am I going to look at that? 500 people. It would bring up a lot of stress. And I realized this is just my mind. And so when you look fear in the face, and you begin to move through it with enough practice and repetition, you gain confidence and you get this sense that no matter what comes my way, I'm going to handle it. I'm going to be okay. Okay, number 3. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen." This is one that I absolutely love and I resonate with quite a bit in my own life, and you probably do at times as well. Once you decide to do things for you, you make a decision to invest in yourself. You make a decision to take a leap of faith and take on a certain project or do something that scares you, something in favor of your own growth. Your brain starts to look for It selectively attends and begins to look for things that reinforce that decision. And so Ralph Waldo Emerson says the universe conspires in your favor. And what I say is the brain has so many things to pay attention to. Something called a reticular activating system that pays particular attention to different things, selectively attending. And when you decide to invest your attention, your money, yourself, your time in certain places, your brain starts to selectively attend to the things that reinforce that decision. And it takes a leap of faith sometimes, but that decision, once you decide, the universe conspires in your favor. So what decisions in your life, what risks that you've been holding back that are for you or for people you love, have you been holding back on that you can begin to think about making today? Once you make that decision, the universe conspires in your favor. Okay, let's move to the next one. J.K. Rowling, the author of all the Harry Potter series and more, said, "I have never been remotely ashamed of having been depressed. Never. What's there to be ashamed of? I went through a really tough time, and I'm quite proud that I got out of that." What an incredible mindset, showing us that it's not about the event in our lives. It's more about our perception of the event that matters, how we're relating to the event. So many people have this story, this identity of being depressed. I'm a depressed person. I'm an anxious person. I'm a traumatized person. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, okay, so that perception, that identity that you hold, or that idea of being ashamed of any kind of mental struggle, how is that serving you? Does that help you in your life in any way? It's a simple answer to that question. Does that help you in your relationships? Does it help you in your work that you do? Does that help you in really becoming the person that you have the ability to be? And if the answer is no, if it holds you back in some way, consider the mindset that J.K. Rowling has there. The reality is there's billions and billions of people on this planet. Mental health and mental illness are a real thing. Depression, anxiety, panic, trauma, addiction, all of these things that we've labeled, which are great, sometimes very helpful to have a label, are also just ways we're trying to understand them. We're trying to create labels for them so we can understand how to treat these different struggles. And for you, or anyone, if you know anyone who struggles with these mental health issues, there's nothing to be ashamed of. This is a human condition. This is a part of our common humanity. Many of you know my story, and I'll put a link to it at the end of this, but I used to struggle quite a bit with a ton of drug and alcohol dependence and just a lot of emotional suffering. And it was dark night of the soul, and that's how, to me, there was an opening for trauma to transformation. It was all about the way I inevitably ended up focusing and the people I surrounded myself with. And so for her to say that, what am I to be ashamed of? I went through a really tough time and I moved through it. That's something to be proud of. Completely different mindset. Shame is not serving you. There's nothing wrong with you or anyone you know for having struggled with depression, anxiety, trauma, addiction, anything like this. It's part of our human condition. And your job, if this is currently here for you, or if you've moved through it, looking back on it and say, you know what, I'm proud I was able to move through that struggle. What supported me? Or if you're currently in it, the question is, okay, all things come and go, all things shift and change. What do I need to put in place to support myself? And this will be a learning experience. It's not like you snap your fingers and the magical solution appears. You're trying things out and experimenting. What supports me? How do I learn to love myself? Okay. Final quote. Your illness does not define you. Your strength and courage does. You can see how there's a little bit of a theme here. That one doesn't have an attribution. It's from somebody that's unknown. And there's a little theme here moving from the last one to this. And the idea that our limitations or our illnesses or our struggles in life are not the things that we need to focus on to say we're limited in this way. The question is, how am I approaching these? How am I relating to these? We want to be able to, the ability to have courage and strength is also an innate human capacity. So ask yourself, in what ways in my life, where have I shown courage? Where have I shown strength? Allow yourself to focus on that. And where in my life right now do I need courage and strength that I can focus on? And as you begin to focus on that, you'll see the energy for it begin to grow. Just like watering plants in a garden, or just like anything that you focus on and give energy to it and allows it to grow. Same thing here. Where in my life do I need courage? Do I need it in my relationships? Where do I need strength? Do I need it in my focus around my finances? Do I need it in my focus of my ability to calm my body and my nervous system? Do I need actually physical strength in my body? Where do I need it? So continue to think about that. Wherever your focus goes, you invite an energy to flow, and you have the ability to do that. So remember, your illness does not define you. Your strength and courage does. I hope one or more of these really resonated with you today. Go ahead and take one of them, allow them to be your mantra, or go ahead and take one of them and journal about them and how they're relevant to you, or just write below which one impacted you the most and how it's relevant to you. Allow a collective wisdom to begin to cultivate below in the comments section. If this was supportive to you in any way, please don't forget to like this video. That tells YouTube, hey, there's something relevant here that could support other people. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe below. We put out new videos every single week that give great mental health tips that are only gonna support your life into getting into a better place, or if it's already in a better place, an even better place. My name is Dr. Elisha Goldstein. I'm gonna leave a few videos on the other end of this. If you are interested in working with me more closely, go ahead and click on the link to the Uncover the Power Within program below. And I'll look forward to connecting with you. Otherwise, enjoy the few videos that I'm leaving for you on the other end of this. I'll see you next time.